Rossum's Universal Robots. Story of the play. The play is laid on an island somewhere on our planet, and on this island is the central office of the factory of Rossum's Universal Robots. Robot is a Czech word meaning worker. When the play opens, a few decades beyond the present day, the factory had turned out already, following a secret formula, hundreds of thousands and even millions of manufactured workmen, living automats, without souls, desires, or feelings. They are high-powered labourers, good for nothing but work. There are two grades, the unskilled and the skilled, and especially trained workmen are furnished on request. When Helena Glory, president of the Humanitarian Leagues, comes to ascertain what can be done to improve the condition of those over-specialized creatures, Harry Domin, the general manager of the factory, captures her heart and hand in the speediest courting on record in our theatre. The last two acts take place 10 years later. Due to the desire of Helena to have the robots more like human beings, Dr. Ghoul, the head of the physiological and experimental departments, has secretly changed the formula. And while he has partially humanized only a few hundreds, there are enough to make ringleaders, and a world revolt of robots is underway. This revolution is easily accomplished, as robots have long since been used when needed as soldiers, and the robots far outnumber human beings. I'm Luke Summerhays, and I love Iron Boulder. RUR, short for Rossum's Universal Robots, was a play written in 1920, first performed in 1921, and first translated into English in 1924, where it was explained with the summary I read at the start of this podcast. This play is responsible for introducing the word robot to the English language, though it was pronounced robot until the 1950s in the movie Forbidden Planet. Right at the introduction of the concept of robots, this very first story sees them revolt and eliminate mankind. As long as humans have imagined a mechanical workforce, we have imagined that it will rise up against us and destroy us. Perhaps that's because our stories are written by the elites who fear the workers rising up. Perhaps it's because we all become old people, scared the children will leave us behind. What's this Power World rubbish? In my day we played Pokemon on a Game Boy, in black and white. Well, black and green really, the screen wasn't actually white. It's not the same. Iron Boulder is the future paradox form of Terrakion. A rock and psychic type Pokemon, it takes the bulk and strength of Terrakion and seems to be made of sections of a European knight's metal armor. Pokemon Violet tells us, "It was named after a mysterious object recorded in an old book. Its body seems to be metallic." I don't think that book is the Three Musketeers, nor RUR. In fact, we can get some more clarity if we trade Iron Boulder over to Pokemon Scarlet. Pokemon Scarlet tells us, "It resembles a Pokemon described in a dubious magazine as a Terrakion that had been modified by an evil organization." This is a fairly common science fiction trope, from Robocop to Mecha King Ghidorah. To stay on my little literary theme, however, it is a plot point in RUR that the formula is modified by unscrupulous sorts, resulting in the ringleaders of the robotic evolution. If Iron Boulder decided to rise up, it might have some success. It takes the speed of Terrakion and swaps physical attack for special. It has a unique move, Heavy Cleave, using its battle axe-like head to smash opponents, doing serious damage and also bypassing Protect. This is a pretty serious attack, and saw Iron Boulder quickly become extremely popular on the competitive scene, back when it first appeared. Iron Boulder's bag of tricks aren't much more than that though, and so it has slowly been dropped by many players, in favour of more versatile monsters. In science fiction, and in last week's discussions of Iron Crown, we are always drawn to the almost human intelligence and pathos of the robots who fight back against human oppression. We haven't seen such entities in the real world, though. We often hear about AI these days, but far from being actual artificial intelligence, it's just a middleman for plagiarism. An iron boulder can roll down a hill, but it cannot yet replace the gentlemanly affections of Porthos of His Majesty's Musketeers. Original music for Luke Loves Pokemon is by Jonathan Cromie. Artwork is by Katie Groves. Funding is provided by listeners at Patreon. If you enjoy this podcast and want to check out other shows by me and my friends, head to podcastiopodcastius.org. I love hearing from listeners. Get in touch about upcoming Pokemon on Twitter or Facebook at LukeLovesPKMN. Drop a comment if you're watching the video, or a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Coming up are Iron Leaves, and then soon Enamorous, so please get in touch about those or any other monsters. Even if you don't feel like doing any of that, thank you so much just for listening. I love Iron Boulder, and remember, I love you too.